Little update on the plane. It's like 55th state still. So just trying to coordinate my fingers little by little. Hopefully you enjoyed that acoustic guitar on my last video. My wife laughed because she heard that and saw me playing. She goes, "I can't hear you." But anyways, I wanted to tell you my story about 2019 in the Texas MS-150. The Texas 2018, I did that 150 miles after just 30 days of training, and I said, man, never again. And then Lynn wanted to try, so we both tried on 2019, and I needed to muster all the motivation I could, and my friends in Blue Oyster Call and Buck Dharma and Sandy Dharma and John Michelli and Danny Miranda all helped me out by signing some merchandise from the Buck Dharma band from my Miracles Do Happen Take One rockumentary, if you will. And the BOC fans responded, and we had a lot of fun with it, donating and gave a lot of Buck Dharma hats and stuff. But one thing happened is one of our hardcore fans that's a family, like, it's hard to explain. It's just like Scott Adams' family or Michael Berry Brigade. Blue Oyster Call is definitely a family. I'm sure it's the same with Kiss Brigade, but ours is kind of really small. And one of our guys was named Bill Clark. He's in Pennsylvania area, around Philly, in a suburb area. But his wife had multiple sclerosis, and she was very, very sick. And we had been in touch, and he had donated as sponsorship for my team before. But I kept following him on Facebook in his story with his wife, and he finally had to put her in the hospital. She had, lost everything. She lost even her ability to breathe, sort of like an ALS kind of thing. And Bill had to pull the plug on his wife. And he posted on Facebook, "I just killed my wife." You didn't kill her. Bill the Monster did. The banner on top was the one that I rode in 2019 all year for Christy in riding. I didn't really want to ride that year, but I got to tell you, Christy really put the motivation in it. And, luckily, Bill recovered from that and has a family surrounding him, so that's helpful. The bottom one, the one underneath, was the bandana that I'm on. They got me as Charles and not Chuck. And those are all Conoco Phillips MS Champion banners. The first banner for the MS-150 was called the Pedal Partner. And that was a red bandana. And it was only given out really if one of the riders knew somebody with MS. So it was a little bit more exclusive at that time, but I had a pedal partner, and she was one of my clients that I did her credit card process in the restaurant, and I made her a top fundraiser. And I had another guy, I went to a merchant, I did their processing. I can see them in my mind, but I can't tell you their name. But the waiter that waited on me, he saw my MS regalia or whatever, I had, a pin or something. And he said, "Hey, I'm riding." And same thing I said to everybody who told me I'm riding. I said, how's your fundraising going? And he hemmed and hawed, and he didn't do any fundraising yet, and he wasn't going to ride. He was bragging about signing up, but he didn't follow through on the funding. And I actually funded that kid, and he stayed in touch with me on the ride. And it was one of those things, where somebody tells you, you made a difference in his life. So that relates to the MS 150 kind of thing. Some of you have seen our coat of arms downstairs, the painting of a reproduction of our coat of arms, Rodriguez de la Seda. And the story about that coat of arms is that was painted by Steve Perkins, and his wife died of MS. And she was just the happiest person, even though she was in a wheelchair. Every time I saw her, she was so nice. And I remember Steve telling me, hey, he did a commission painting for Kelsey Grammer. I think he works in a museum now. But there's another person affected by MS associated with our family, and everybody helped me out to raise the funds, and I really appreciate that. And, I wish I could ride now, but I can't. And I said, what's it say? I ride because I can, for those that can't, for as long as I can. Well, that's over.